Could you introduce yourself, please?
My name's Ryan Long. I'm a freshman from Texas who's studying pro flight at Purdue.
All right, Ryan. How did you find out about the programs offered here at Purdue?
Well, I was always interested in flight, and my neighbor was in pro flight as well. So he was like really pushing me to go to Purdue. When I researched more about pro flight, Purdue was consistently one of the top schools in the country for it. Um, I looked at many pamphlets and websites, and internet and searches, and it was consistently one of the top. So, and it was a school that had a really good name to it. So I took my talents there.
All right. What made you hesitate to pursue a degree in pro flight compared to something more mainstream?
Well, it's a lot of people don't know much about pro flight, and honestly, a lot of people are kind of intimidated by the thought of flying an airplane. Um, but this was something that really like intrigued me, and I thought it was something I always had a passion for. Another thing that made me hesitate was the cost. It is very expensive to get your pilot license and go through this program, especially at a very good school like Purdue. Um, so I was very hesitant about that. It's also a very specific major, so there's not a whole lot of branching out you can do from your major. There's only a few jobs. A lot of people go commercial, and I'm thinking about doing that. You could also go in the Navy or stuff like that.
Okay, so why did you end up pursuing this degree?
Ultimately, um, college is about finding a good job, and there's a lot of opportunity out there, especially in pro flight, to find jobs and to make a lot of good money. Like I said, I have a strong passion for it. It's something I love to do. And every day I'm here at Purdue, I learn something different. Like the program's great, and I really enjoy what I love doing. And it's a career I would enjoy to pursue and want to do it for the rest of my life. So it's more just about like building a future for yourself. So choosing this major and pursuing this was no doubt in my mind.
Okay. Why do you think that others aren't so much involved in aviation?
Like I said before, they're kind of intimidated about pro flight and the thought of flying a plane. You see a lot of horror stories or horror movies about like planes crashing and stuff like that. So they kind of tend to not do that. They tend to stick to the typical majors such as business or finance. And most of all, they're just uninformed about it. They don't know that pro flight's a very unique major, and you can do a lot of things. You can learn a lot about it. And also, it's not very common. A lot of people don't even know that there's a pro flight major at Purdue. Um, yeah, it's not very common, so people don't really go into it. It's not super big. It's not one of the main majors at Purdue, even though it's a very good school. So um, that's why I don't think others are involved a lot.
All right. And then, how much more have you learned about your access to aviation since being at Purdue?
It's actually grown a lot. In my first few weeks at Purdue, there was someone who came into our school and gave a speech about his kind of track through the pro flight at Purdue, and he basically told us a story of how he started off in pro flight and worked his way through the program, and ultimately got a job in a field that I had never heard of. And it was very intriguing because he was able to go into this field that no one really knew anything about and was able to succeed and found what he really liked to do, even though the Purdue pro flight program really didn't teach any of that. So it kind of told me like I could branch out and do stuff that I like, um, even though it wasn't in the curriculum or didn't even stick to commercial flying. You can go into so many like other branches of it. Um, so basically, in conclusion, I really enjoyed being a Purdue pro flight major. I think there's a lot of opportunities out there for me. And yeah, do you have any other questions?
Uh, no. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.